It's a pleasure now for me to recognize the subcommittee ranking member, Mr. Fortenberry.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for your recognition. And Madam Chair, if you'll indulge me for a moment, I'd like to divert and reflect openly on something I've been reflecting on privately. When I was young, my father died. And my grandfather looked at me one day and he said, "Jeffrey, what do you want to do in life?" Now, my grandfather had been a county extension agent and had been long associated with a land-grant college. I even remember him telling me a story about how one day he had to pull a horse's hair from its tail in order to have stitching material to sew up a cow that had been severely lacerated. That's the world they lived in. So when he asked me that question, "Jeffrey, what do you want to do in life?" I said to him proudly, "Papa, I want to be a farmer." Well, life didn't exactly take that turn, but I am just frankly amazed. Little could I have imagined that almost 50 years later, here I am as ranking member of the House Agricultural Appropriations Subcommittee on Agriculture. I'm proud of that, and I want to thank you all for the investing your confidence in me to help lead this with good Chairman, Mr. Bishop. So I want to thank you, Ms. Lowy, for, again, that confidence and for your leadership, and our ranking member, Ms. Granger, as well, for their leadership on crafting this most important piece of public policy for all America. Chairman Bishop, I want to particularly thank you and commend you for your willingness to work so hard to find a way to get many, many bipartisan issues and member requests into this bill. The committee should know that Chairman Bishop and I had many lengthy and generous discussions as to how to craft this bill. So, Mr. Bishop, again, I'm very grateful for your leadership. The decisions before this subcommittee impact the lives of every American every day, and all of us across the nation are tethered to agriculture in one form or another. And making the decisions on how to allocate $24 billion takes intense commitment. And I believe this bill represents a seriousness of intent. And before I delve into the substantial pluses and a few minuses in the bill, I want to provide some additional context for those of you who may not be familiar with the bigger agricultural picture across America. And where I live in Nebraska, and I think it's safe to say where the chairman lives in Georgia, agriculture is essential to our way of life, to our culture, and who we are as a people. Production agriculture, corn, soybeans, and livestock cover much of our landscape, and it is an important driver of much of America's export prowess. The efficiency, quality, and ingenuity shown by America's farmers provides food security for hundreds of millions of people, both here and abroad. Many of those are among the most vulnerable in the world. It also ensures that Americans enjoy the lowest grocery prices across the world. Agriculture is also more than about bulk production. From the use of advanced robotics to run dairy operations, to enzyme extraction from ethanol production, from the enhancement of critical wetlands, as well as improving crop yields and conservation stewardship practices, our farmers are contributing to human flourishing across our great nation. And many of the technological advancements that we use today have been made possible by the type of investments that are very much a part of this bill. I want to highlight three particular areas. First, the bill's $3.4 billion reflects a commitment to rural development in housing, utilities, and businesses. A particular note is broadband. Chairman Bishop has included report language to encourage the USDA to consider the broader social benefits when the department seeks applications for the $680 million of broadband resources in this bill. It is very important that we measure the impact of broadband out as to how it affects the ecosystem of livability. It's not just more wires, but livability from enhanced telehealth, telecommuting, and precision agriculture, as well as other applications to make broadband an effective infrastructure investment in our country. Second, I'm pleased to see an increase of $185 million for the Food and Drug Administration, with emphasis on lowering the price of generic drugs. The chairman has also marked investments in food safety by lessening the burden on our state health departments. The states are the ones who apply FDA's high standards for production of foods across the country, and I think that's smart and important. Lastly, when I met the chairman in his office a couple weeks ago, we found common ground, as we often do, on ideas as to how to grow America's agriculture family. This bill includes $5.4 million for the Farmers Market and Local Food Promotion Program, allowing smaller local producers to provide fresh products, gain a source of revenue, connect the urban to the rural, the farmer to the family. That's all exciting. In addition to this program, the bill includes investments for tribal demonstration projects, a pilot project for the food distribution program for Indian reservations, and we have a new urban agricultural office. It's all about growing the agricultural family. But at its core, this bill is about one thing. It's about food security. Our diverse and plentiful food supply is made possible through hard work, the hard work of our farmers and ranchers, and the public policies that assist them. For those in vulnerable circumstances, the bill provides important funding for all of the USDA nutrition programs at levels that ensure that all eligible participants will receive the assistance they need. We also support research and development in agriculture to the tune of $3.3 billion and provide appropriate oversight of commodity markets in order to provide confidence for business. I can point out many other positive things, but I also must point to several difficulties. First, as our ranking member Granger has consistently mentioned at every appropriation markup, the appropriation bills lack a bipartisan, bicameral agreement on the budget caps. And lastly, Mr. Chairman, Madam Chair, I would be remiss if I didn't express a deep regret that the bill did not include the previous bipartisan provision that would prevent the human germline gene editing process. This is a prohibition that is accepted by nearly every nation in the world due to the unknown risk. Fortunately, it's my understanding that there may be an agreement on an amendment to restore this important public health policy. In closing, Mr. Chairman, Chairman Bishop, let's keep working together. And I yield back to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you.